The Celtics last night in Oakland, and Jalen, a lot of it coming from that guy, the much maligned Gordon Hayward, who had it going early and often. A lot of it having to do with DeMarcus Cousins struggling on the defensive side, and you see Hayward doing it, taking it to the basket and knocking down outside shots. Celtics are up 10. Now they're going up 16 as he knocks down a long three off the screen. And then watch the gorgeous pass that you will see in this sequence here. Marcus Smart. Well, behind the back and a bounce pass, and he leaves it there for Hayward. That's a great dish. The Celtics were up 22 points late in the first half. The lead is 19, 2 minutes to go in the third. You're going to see Hayward putting a little punctuation on here. He's knocking that one down. He would shoot 12 of 16 from the floor. And then, again, on the defensive end, turning this into points. 12 of 16, 30 points for Hayward, and the Celtics win at 128 to 95. Gordon Hayward, that was a long time coming.
Defensively, we were really good. We didn't let them get any easy leak outs. Easy buckets in transition, especially in that first half. So when we're good on defense, we give ourselves a chance.
He's just huge, for us, and we need him to be confident, and we need him to be who he's been, for 9 years. He's a veteran presence in his locker room. He's been through a lot, so we just want to support him, and we want him to play well.
Gordon Hayward is like a leadoff hitter for the Celtics. When he goes, they go. They're now 18-2 this year in games in which he shoots at least 50% from the floor. And so because we live in a world where, like, minute by minute we analyze these things, they play a big game last night. Hayward looks good in doing it. Do we have an inclination to think, all is well now with the Boston Celtics, whose locker room has been, it seems, in shambles? Seth, what do you think?
Look, when the ball's going in, life is good. Good coach, bad coach. Good player, bad player. Good locker room, bad locker room. They didn't face any adversity yesterday. Look, that was a red-letter game. That was a game they had to come out and play well and show they had a pulse. Now, the one thing about Gordon Hayward, in my opinion, that guy came back from a horrific injury. So I think, like anything he's doing right now, we've got to give him some time. Does this solve the Celtics locker room? No, it's in this moment in time issue. They still have the same issues.
And I wanted to bring Marcus into this conversation here because the issue that we've been discussing with Kyrie Irving in particular and the Celtics in general, it goes way beyond to the point that Seth is making. This is not an X's and O's discussion. It's a leadership discussion. I know you've been watching and following. What has been your perspective?
My perspective is Kyrie is not a natural leader. Look, we deem so many times in pro sports the best player as the leader, which is hardly ever the case. Jay, you can agree. Like, you go inside a locker room. Seth, you coach Maria, you've been in a locker room. Bree, you've been a part of a team at ESPN where you know that most of the times great teams are really ruled by committee. Sure. It's a bunch of guys stepping up. When I was in college and in the pros, we had guys on practice squad that would talk when they felt like it was necessary in the league. We had guys on that were not on scholarship at LSU that felt like they needed to step up. Look, Kyrie Irving wanted this, and I've sat around and heard you guys talk about this a number of times. We have to stop calling people leaders because they perform well. That does not make you a leader in any team sport. Right. You're a scorer. So, look, when you construct a team, right, there are what we've cliched as glue guys that you can bring into a locker room, that you can maneuver around, that will always keep things kosher because it's already a front office and then us. It's us against them. So if you don't have a guy leading that can manage those relationships, you're going to struggle as a team anyway.
Well said. Well said. And the thing is, for example, when there's a team meeting and it's just players only, you get a chance to air out your grievances among your teammates. But ultimately, all that becomes is a great session about the coach and about the organization. To his point, players police one another. What has happened in this me first generation in a lot of ways, the media takes the best player and assumes that that's the leader, and then that guy gets into a microphone and says, my guys. And that happened in this situation, by the way. Because they was looking at Kyrie like, what do you mean the young guys don't know what it takes? We made it to the conference finals without you. And so you don't want to have to adjust to us, not the other way around. We know that the media thinks that you're the leader, but no, we're governed by one another. And it's a team sport, and that dynamic can never get lost.
Yeah, and I think what we've happened, too, is that now that it's a player-first league and it's player-led, that we don't go to the coaches. And usually the coach at the podium will say, you know, this is my bad. This is what I did wrong. Here's how we're going to get better. And, of course, a player doesn't want to say that. But I think if you have a guy like, say, Doc Rivers is the head coach of the Celtics, or just somebody, a bigger personality, like stronger guy that can draw everyone in and police a little bit more, Celtics are fine, in my mind. Like, again, I think it comes down to role play and making sure, not role play, but knowing your role to play, and then making sure that someone is a leader.
It's real simple. You know, I can call you a leader, but if no one follows you, you're not a leader, and that's the problem right now.
But also, go ahead. Don't separate. Like going back to football. GM, don't say Ben Roethlisberger and these kids. Kyrie, don't say my guys. These dudes have families. They playing in the league. They have ability. You separate yourself when you start using those cliche terms like that.
And also embracing a new role. Like Coach will tell you, like everybody has a role. But you got to embrace it and own it.
No question.
3 guys did it yesterday. Gordon Hayward, Jalen Brown, and Terry Rozier. They combined off the bench to score 57 points.
All right, we'll talk more about this because I have a few questions for my friend Mr. Spears here that we'll get to. But first, we have to show everyone something disgusting.
Yeah, meanwhile, on planet Earth, I take you to OKC, taking on the Timberwolves, and Steven Adams, he has to get a plug for his nose after taking an elbow, and of course, nose is bleeding. What do? Plug it up, but look at what is this? Can you go back and look? No. He basically needs like a light Playtex or something. Now, look at that.
Look at this.
This is disgusting.
Look at this.
And then you have to go find another trainer, get something smaller. He doesn't stop bleeding.
You gather the media around you when you announce your retirement. That's what I do.
How can you not love this guy? This guy, he just wants a ball.
He just wants the ball. Please help him. Tonight, the NBA Wednesday doubleheader starts in Chicago with the 76ers and the Bulls. Then it's off to Staples Center for LeBron and the Lakers. And then our coverage will begin with Countdown at 7 Eastern, or you can also stream it live on the ESPN app.
I think we kind of got away from ourselves at the beginning of this year, and I think we've done a good job. It's just kind of getting back to what we do best.
Our backs are against the wall, and they're still against the wall. This shows the character of this team.
All right, one of our favorite things to do is play a little game called Swagoo Says, where you hear things that other people say, and then Swagoo will interpret them for you. Today, we have a special edition. Ryan Clark, our buddy Ryan, was standing in that spot yesterday and made a bunch of predictions. We called it Ryan Sees the Future. So we're going to go through some of the things he predicted and see what Swagoo thinks. We begin with Earl Thomas, former member of the Legion of Boom. He's a free agent. A lot of speculation about him joining the Cowboys. Here's what RC had to say.
Earl Thomas. Do you remember Earl Thomas chasing Jason Garrett down the tunnel? Hey, man, come get me. Say, bro, come get me. And he was still a Seattle Seahawk at the time. And we all remember his great goodbye wave to the Seattle Seahawks while he's being carted off. I believe Earl Thomas becomes a Dallas Cowboy. Also believe that he takes less money than we think to do so.
So that's what RC said. What does Swagoo say?
I feel hella good about being able to agree with my LSU Tiger and saying I agree. I think Earl Thomas is a big answer for the Dallas Cowboys and what they're trying to do. Byron Jones moved the cornerback, made the Pro Bowl. You bring in Earl Thomas, who's expressed that he wants to be there. So I agree with Ryan. Ryan almost said exactly what Swagoo would say.
Okay, so we have agreement on one. Let's get to the next one here, because probably the biggest name entering free agency is Le'Veon Bell. There are a bunch of teams who will be interested in landing him after he sat out all of last year. Let's listen to where Ryan thinks he's going to go.
Le'Veon Bell to your team, the New York Jets.
Do you like that?
I know you're excited. Listen, if I had a pie, I would throw it on the ground. If I was more excited, I'd get up there and go run with people. But you should be doing that right now, Greeny, because now when you name both of your kids Sam, he'll at least have somebody that's a security blanket for him.
RC says Le'Veon to the Jets. What does Swagoo say?
Hell no. Le'Veon to Houston. I like that matchup. You think about what Deshaun Watson is doing. They got B-Hop, Nook over there, and then you put it back into the backfield. They struggle. Greeny, I know you don't like it. I feel you breathing on my neck right now because you want him with the Jets. But the Houston Texans are a perfect landing spot for Le'Veon Bell.
But don't you think that after sitting out on it, he's going to go wherever the most money is,
No question.
right?
No question.
And the Jets have a lot of money.
And he's made it very well known that it's about that bread.
Yes, he's going to secure the briefcase, as we had famously said on the show.
No state tax in Texas.
That's true. And there is substantial state tax in New Jersey. Meanwhile, Kyler Murray, we already saw Todd McShay has him at the top of his latest mock draft. Here's what Ryan Clark had to say about where Murray is going to get drafted.
This guy will be the first pick of the draft. It's going to be Kyler Murray to the Arizona Cardinals. We talked about it earlier. You heard Maria say, give the guy who he needs and who he wants. And Josh Rosen, you're out of here.
Where does Rosen go?
I'm thinking Washington Redskins. It's your team. You don't know what's going to happen with Alex Smith. Go get Josh Rosen. You know this is a guy that was ranked high last year.
So there you have it. RC says Kyler Murray, #1 to Arizona. Josh Rosen traded to Washington. Oh, Swagoo, I can tell from your face you don't like it.
Ryan, you're a millennial because you hype about the moment, all right? You done fell into the wastebasket that everybody else has fell into with Kyler Murray in this whole conversation. And now you got Josh Rosen going to the Redskins. He was the number 10 pick last year. Kyler Murray is the savior of the NFL. All right, I get it. Everybody's talking about it. It's hype. I'm going to say this for the last time. Well, not the last time because we still got an hour left, G. It has never happened before. Ever happened before with a quarterback of this stature. You take Kyler Murray first. What you're saying is for the next 15 to 20 years, this is the guy that's going to lead our franchise to a Super Bowl and win a few. That's where you're taking him. That's the value of that pick.
Now, the notion that everyone is associating him there because of Cliff Kingsbury, you touched on it briefly earlier.
Yeah.
Why do you think of Kingsbury being in that spot in the first place?
I never want to associate Cliff Kingsbury with being a head coach in the NFL. Like, there are things that you have to do in order to be a head coach in the National Football League. This is the best the world got to offer. Now, I know Kime, who hadn't made all the greatest decisions, the general manager for Arizona, brought in Cliff Kingsbury because this new wave and Sean McVay. He going to find out real damn quick Cliff Kingsbury ain't Sean McVay.
So you're not sold on any of this?
Why would I be sold, G? Look at his record at Texas Tech. The Big 12 doesn't play any defense. He's an offensive guru and couldn't win a damn game in that conference. Now you're going to bring him to the NFL and expect that to carry over and work? And oh, by the way, let me remind everybody, Sean McVay was the hot topic, right?
Yeah.
And going into the Super Bowl, they scored 3 points. Guess who the top performers was in that Super Bowl? Wade Phillips and Bill Belichick, the old heads that believe in the old way in the NFL. You can try to get away from it as much as you want to. These old coaches that have been doing football the same way for all of these years are still having the most success. Now take that and smoke it.
That is what Swagoo says. All right, on we go. The Lakers are the next subject for us this morning. Their dumpster fire continues, and just when things couldn't get worse, wait till you hear the word they used to describe LeBron. That's next. It's Get Up on ESPN.